Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're exploring materials, specifically one that could genuinely reshape our future. Imagine something almost impossibly thin, like practically two-dimensional,
Right.
yet stronger than steel. And it conducts electricity better than, better than copper.
It sounds like science fiction almost.
Exactly. But it isn't. It's graphene. And it's already starting to pop up everywhere. Think advanced batteries, flexible screens, super strong composites for planes and cars.
Mm-hmm. The applications are incredibly broad.
Okay, so let's really unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today into the, frankly, extraordinary growth of the graphene market.
It's a hot topic.
It really is. And our mission, it's simple. We're digging into the graphene market forecast. Global Trends 2021-2033 report. This is from Cognitive Market Research. And pulling out the key insights for you.
Giving you the shortcut.
Exactly. Your shortcut to understanding how this material isn't just emerging, it's exploding globally.
Yeah.
We'll look back at 2021, see where things are around now, 2025, and then project out to 2033.
And it's quite a projection.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's all driven by these incredible properties, right?
Yeah.
The strength, the conductivity, the sheer versatility for things like sensors, water purification, even medical uses.
Yeah, those core properties are key.
So the numbers across the globe tell a really compelling story. Where should we, focus our attention as these market figures unfold? What do they really tell us?
Well, it's crucial to look beyond just the raw dollar figures. What these trends really signify are these deep shifts happening in technology and industry.
Okay.
They show us, which sectors are jumping on innovation fastest, where R&D is actually turning into real products.
Right, commercial success.
Exactly. And ultimately, where the big future opportunities are likely to be. Understanding these patterns is, I think, fundamental to seeing the bigger picture of our material future.
Okay, so let's zoom out then. Let's get that global view and just grasp the scale of this growth. I mean, think about it. Just a few years back, graphene was mostly stuck in the lab, wasn't it?
Very much so. A
Yeah.
curiosity.
But these figures, they paint a picture of, serious commercial acceleration. It started solid enough, $135 million roughly in 2021.
A decent base.
Then the projection for 2025 sees it nearly double to $283.69 million. Pretty impressive.
That's already strong growth in just 4 years.
But then this is where it really takes off. By 2033, the forecast is, it skyrockets to over $1.2 billion. $1,252.72 million to be precise.
Wow. From 135 million to over 1.2 billion in about 12 years.
Yeah. And that translates to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 20.4% over that whole period, 2021 to 2033.
Okay, 20.4%.
That's not just fast. I mean, it puts graphene right up there as one of the fastest growing advanced material markets anywhere. So a 20.4% CAGR sustained over a decade. In the world of materials, what does that really signal about how fast this could become, everywhere?
That's a great question because, 20.4% CAGR in a market for a foundational material like graphene, it's not just fast, it's kind of explosive. It's the sort of growth you see with genuinely transformative technologies in their early phases.
Right, not just tweaking things.
Exactly. It tells us graphene is moving well past the maybe someday phase and into real practical, widespread use across lots of different industries.
Okay.
We're seeing the manufacturing methods get better. We're seeing costs come down, finally.
Which is key.
Absolutely key. And industries can now actually, design it into things. Better batteries, lighter car parts, as advanced water filters you mentioned. This kind of fast, sustained growth. It's a huge vote of confidence from global industry.
Okay, so we've got the big global picture. Let's drill down a bit into the regions really powering this. Starting with North America, it seems like it's not just growing, it's really cementing its lead.
A major player.
Yeah, overall, North America's graphene market started at, $57 million-ish in 2021.
Okay.
The projection for 2033, over $500 million, $511.112 million. It's holding a strong CAGR too, around 20%.
So still very robust growth, consistent with the global average.
Right. And within North America, no surprise, the U.S. is the dominant force. It's forecast to go from about $46.5 million in 2021 to over $400 million by 2033. That's a CAGR close to 20% itself.
A huge chunk of the North American market then.
Definitely. But, it's not just the U.S. Canada's looking strong too, projected to hit nearly $60 million by 2033, with actually a slightly higher TGR, almost 21%.
Interesting.
And Mexico as well, showing real momentum, aiming for nearly $50 million by 2033. So North America's growth looks really consistent, really strong. What's behind that? Like, what specific industries or maybe existing advantages are helping graphene integrate so well there?
Well, connecting it to the bigger picture, North America's strength isn't just sort of general R&D spending. It points to very targeted uses. Think about aerospace in the US, right?
It's huge.
They're always demanding lighter, stronger materials for the next generation of aircraft. Graphene fits perfectly. Then there's the advanced medical device sector. Graphene's biocompatibility is a big deal for new sensors, maybe targeted drug delivery systems. And we're also seeing, significant pull from advanced electronics in the automotive sector, where those performance boosts from graphene are becoming, well, almost essential.
It's embedding strategically.
Exactly. It's being embedded into these high-value, high-tech applications that can really leverage what makes graphene special, not just throwing it at everything.
Right. Okay, let's shift focus now. Turning our attention across the Atlantic to Europe. We see another really significant market here, showing both consistency and, well, some dynamic growth too.
Europe's always strong in materials.
Yeah, overall, Europe's graphene market is projected to grow from around $24 million in 2021 up to over $214 million by 2033. The CGR is solid, just under 20%.
Okay, so similar overall growth rate to North America.
Pretty much. And if we break it down, Germany and the UK really stand out. They're both projected to clear $40 million, actually Germany over $50 million by 2033. And their key GRs are impressive, well over 20% each.
Leaders in the region, definitely.
But what's also interesting is how widespread the growth seems. France, Italy, Russia, Spain, they're all showing significant projected contributions. It really reinforces Europe's strength in advanced materials innovation.
A broad base.
Exactly. And digging a bit deeper, here's something I found really compelling. The report has this category, Rest of Europe.
Okay.
That category actually shows the highest regional KGR in Europe at 21.7%.
Huh. That is interesting. Higher than Germany or the UK.
Yeah. So what could be driving that? I mean, it implies some really dynamic stuff happening in those, diverse, perhaps smaller markets bundled together.
That's fascinating, actually. It raises a really important question about where specific innovation is happening, maybe outside the usual suspects.
Right.
That high SIG-AGR in rest of Europe, it could mean a whole range of specialized niche applications are really taking root there, maybe in things like environmental sensors, smart textiles, specialized coatings for industry, things that don't make headlines but add up.
Hidden gems, maybe?
Could be. And Europe's overall performance, of course, connects strongly to its long history in advanced manufacturing automotive, industrial machinery, plus, policies that really push innovation and research collaboration across borders.
Okay.
All that creates fertile ground for new materials like graphene to find their niche and scale up, sometimes in these unexpected places.
Makes sense. Okay, let's cross continents now. Over to Asia Pacific, clearly a powerhouse region, projected to drive a huge chunk of graphene's future growth.
Yeah, the numbers here are pretty dramatic.
They really are. Asia Pacific started at about $33 million in 2021. By 2025, it's projected to more than double, hitting over $70 million.
Wow, fast start.
And then, by 2033, it's forecast to surge to an incredible $330 million. That's a CAGR over 21%, 21.253% to be exact, the highest regional CGR overall.
Okay, so the fastest growing region globally.
Seems so. Leading the charge is China, projected to account for over $117 million by 2033, with its own strong CGR over 21.5%.
Unsurprising, given their manufacturing scale.
Right. But here's something that really jumped out at me. India. The report highlights India as one of the fastest growers globally.
Yeah.
Its projected CAGR is an impressive 22.1%, aiming for over $37 million by 2033.
India at over 22%. That is significant.
Yeah. And South Korea is also showing really robust growth, over 20% CAGR, aiming for $26 million plus. So looking at Asia Pacific, that explosive growth, especially India's surge.
Yeah.
What's lighting the fire there? Is it specific sectors, maybe government pushes, something different from what we see in, say, North America or Europe?
Well, what's really fascinating about Asia Pacific isn't just the total market size, which is huge, but those exceptional growth rates, especially from, as you said, emerging industrial giants like India.
Yeah.
It points directly to, well, rapid industrialization, obviously, but also large-scale adoption in manufacturing and probably significant investment, both government and private, in new material science, often with a real focus on building domestic capability, domestic supply chain.
Right. Self-sufficiency?
Exactly. In China, for example, you see massive investment in consumer electronics, electric vehicle batteries, huge markets for graphene.
Okay.
India's growth,
Yeah.
that could be tied to its big infrastructure projects, smart cities initiatives, huge energy storage needs, maybe advanced composites. They're not just adopting graphene, they're scaling production and application incredibly fast. It really positions the whole region as a leader for the next decade.
Truly a powerhouse.
Right.
Okay, now for the regions that might, fly a bit under the radar but are showing really sharp upward curves, this shows graphene's truly global potential. Let's look at South America, the Middle East, and Africa.
Right, the emerging markets.
Exactly. First, South America.
Yeah.
It's projected to grow from about $8.2 million in 2021 to nearly $69 million by 2033. That's a solid CGR, just over 19%.
Still very strong growth.
Yeah, and Brazil's leading the way there,
Right.
projected to hit over $31 million by 2033. But you also see strong growth forecasts for Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Chile. It's pretty broad.
Good regional spread.
Then the Middle East. This market's projected to go from about $6.6 million in 2021 to over $66 million by 2033. And look at the CAGR, over 21%.
Wow, even higher than South America or North America.
Yeah, and the UAE stands out with a very high KGR, almost 22%, aiming for nearly $14 million. But again, just like in Europe, that rest of the Middle East category, it has an even higher KGR, 21.75%.
Huh. Another case of broad, perhaps diverse adoption beyond the biggest economies like Saudi Arabia or Turkey.
Seems like it. And finally, Africa. The market there started smaller, around $5.8 million in 2021, but it's projected to grow to over $62 million by 2033, again, supported by a really strong KGR of over 21%.
Africa matching the Middle East in growth rate, essentially.
Pretty much. And Nigeria's growth is highlighted as particularly impressive, almost 21.7% CAGR, projected to reach nearly $26 million. South Africa also strong, over 20% CAGR, aiming for over $27 million.
So really solid numbers across all three regions.
Absolutely. So these consistently high CAGRs in what we often call emerging markets, even though they start from a smaller base, it really underlines graphene's universal appeal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What does this suggest about the role it could play in, say, transforming infrastructure or tech in these economies?
It's a really important insight, I think. These high KGRs, they show these regions aren't just playing catch-up. They're actively bringing in advanced tech, often leapfrogging older stuff entirely.
Okay.
So for South America, maybe it means graphene-reinforced concrete for infrastructure or more efficient solar panels for remote areas.
Right.
In the Middle East, with their focus on water scarcity and new developments, maybe it's graphene filters for desalination or advanced building materials for those smart city projects.
Makes sense.
And in Africa, you could see graphene being vital for, say, distributed energy grids, cheap agricultural sensors, maybe tough, lightweight materials for transport, addressing really critical development needs directly.
So it's truly global.
It really shows graphene's potential isn't just for the established industrial nations. It's a global material, ready for global impact, potentially helping solve very different problems in different places.
Wow. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground and seen some genuinely compelling numbers and trends today.
Mind-blowing, some of them.
Totally. From North America's really solid foundation, Europe's steady, innovative expansion, and then just the incredible speed we're seeing in Asia-Pacific, the Middle East, and Africa. It seems absolutely clear, pulling it all together from that cognitive market research report, the graphene market is seeing significant, exponential growth everywhere.
The data is pretty unequivocal.
And it's happening because industries all over the globe are trying to get their hands on graphene's amazing properties, that strength for lighter stuff, the conductivity for faster tech, and just its sheer versatility for things we're probably only just starting to imagine.
Which I think raises the big question, doesn't it? What does it mean for you listening to this when a material this fundamental grows this fast?
Right. How does it connect?
Well, the fact that this growth is so global, so widespread, it signals a really fundamental shift in materials science. And that's going to touch, well, probably everything. Maybe subtly at first, maybe not so subtly later.
Like what?
Like the devices in your pocket, better batteries, faster chips, the energy systems powering our homes and cities, making renewables more efficient, maybe better storage, even potentially big leaps in medicine diagnostics, drug delivery.
So, truly transformative.
The report's conclusion is clear. The market is set for transformative expansion over the next decade. This isn't just about stock prices or market caps. It's about a basic building block of technology fundamentally changing.
So what does this all mean for you and your world? I mean, how will graphene actually touch your life, maybe in ways you won't even notice?
Hmm.
We really hope this deep dive has given you that shortcut, made you feel well-informed about, well, one of the most exciting material science stories unfolding right now. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, and maybe leave you with this thought. As graphene gets more and more common, think about how this stuff, which was just a scientific curiosity like 10, 15 years ago,
Right.
could be quietly powering the next wave of everything. Devices, buildings, maybe even medicine. But also, consider the challenges. How do we make it sustainably? How do we manage the supply chains? Keep making it cheaper to use?
Good questions.
Big questions. Will the 2030s really go down as the start of the graphene age? Something to ponder. And remember, all the insights and numbers we discussed today came straight from the Graphene Market Forecast, Global Trends 2021-2033 report by Cognitive Market Research.